Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. So I know y'all are probably going, Nicole, isn't this enough? You've been going live, but I miss you guys. I had such a good time on the last live stream talking about my taper that I want to pop on and I want to do some story time lives with you guys this evening. It's 7 p.m. I don't know if anybody will show up to this live stream, but that's okay. I'm going to get into it. So, my name is Nicole and I'm an addict. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015 and I do utilize medically assisted treatment. I am on Suboxone, currently on 10 milligrams prescribed by the doctor at 2 milligrams. So, I've been doing that for about 3 years and I'm working really hard to get to a point to where I can jump and then come back and share that with you guys. But that's going to take time. What I want to do tonight is I love sharing stories with you guys from my past because, first of all, it reminds me where I came from. And I love looking back to where I came from and then looking at now and comparing it and just being like, hell yeah, like I'm doing this damn thing. I'm changing my life and I want to inspire you to change your life. So that's why I'm telling you these stories. So, like I said, I was in active addiction, you guys, for about 15 years. From the time I was about 17 till about 32. So my addiction really started to take off around the 21, 22-year-old mark. Hey, Meg. And if you want to, you would do whatever you want to do, girl. I'm just going to be telling some stories right now. If you want to go over there and watch that, you can. Or if you want to stay here live with me, you can. Whatever you want to do. So, you guys. So, about 21, 22 is when my addiction really started to take control. I had graduated high school. I was living with family still, but I was running all over the place. I was going out at night and not coming home, partying all night till the break of dawn, you know? So this is what I want to share with you guys. I want to share some addict stories. I want to share some story times from the beginning of my addiction, the middle of my addiction, and the end of my addiction. And I want to compare with you guys the progressiveness of the illness. Because addiction is a progressive disease. It gets worse, never better. It's just like that saying they tell you in treatment. They tell you, once you're a pickle, you cannot go back to being a cucumber. And that's how it is with the disease of addiction. Once you have crossed over that imaginary line, there's really no way to go back, okay? You can change your behaviors and recover from a hopeless state of mind and body, but it takes a lot of work. It takes dedication. It takes open-mindedness. It takes willingness, and it takes honesty. And it takes action. You could sit around all day long wishing you got sober, but until you take action and reach out and ask for help and grab a hold of somebody else, you're going to continue to kind of sit in that same spot. You know, the hardest thing for me to do was to take action and start moving forward with my recovery because I was afraid. I was afraid I was going to fail. I was afraid I wouldn't be good enough. I was afraid that I was going to self-sabotage. I was afraid that when I got off of all the drugs that I had been using for so long, that I would no longer be the same person, that my husband wouldn't love me, and that, you know, my family would never come back around. And my family is sober, but these are the crazy things that your brain does when you're on drugs, that your brain makes you think that you need those drugs so bad to function. And so that's what had happened to me. I got to a point to where, you know, the drugs had just taken control. So I want to share with you guys the beginning stages of my addiction. And we're going to start out really young. I'm going to tell you guys a story time about me when I was 17 years old, okay? So when I was 17 years old, I was in the band and I was second chair, clarinet. I was a basketball player. I played fast pitch softball and I was a dancer and I was on the dance team. And you guys, when I tell you I could dance, I could pop, lock, and drop it. I could twerk. I could do ballet, I could do tap, I could do jazz, and I could do hip-hop. And I could shake it like a salt shaker. My milkshake brought all the boys to the yard. I could dance. And I loved to dance. So I was 17 years old, and I started to really come into my own. I lost a bunch of weight because from the time I was like 14 till the time I was like 16, I really struggled with like chunkiness, you know, that like awkward kind of fat. And I got a real short haircut, so my face looked even more chubbier. Oh, girl, I'll show you guys one day. In fact, you know what we'll do? When I go to my mom and dad's house, I'll have my mom videotape me for you guys, and I'll show y'all one of my old choreography dances that I did. You guys will be so surprised. So 17 years old. I'm feeling good tonight, if you guys couldn't tell. I really love talking to you guys, and y'all gave me so much good info. Talking to you guys on the last live stream just got me excited. I want to come back and talk to y'all some more. Y'all are my friends. So anyway, I was 17 years old, and I was involved in all these extracurricular activities. So in order to be involved in those activities, you have to be able to pass drug screens, right? At 17 was right around when I started to get high, because I started smoking pot with my boyfriend, Robert, remember him? And doing cocaine. And once I figured out that cocaine gave me energy and it made me feel like not eating, then I really started to like abuse it. Like I started to get it all the time. And I wouldn't buy it. I don't think I bought little 25, little quarters and halves, but not a lot. I wouldn't spend a lot of money, and I wasn't shooting it up. So for me, everything kind of shifted when I started shooting up, but that was a lot later on in my addiction. So I started getting really interested in stimulants. So the pot was kind of like, the pot was holding me back, and that's when the principal, they called me in for a random drug screen. And I failed, and I got put on probation with my team, with the basketball team, the softball team, and the cheerleading squad. So I had to start passing drug screens. So I stopped smoking pot, and I was just drinking. I was drinking. So one night, me and my friend Jessica went to this hotel room before a basketball game. Me, Jessica, and Jerry. My friend Jerry was gay, and we would have so much fun, you guys. When I tell you that this kid was gay since the day he was born, we would run the halls of school just fucking, hey! So, we went to this hotel room, and we were drinking. We were drinking and getting fucked up. And I remember that night we were drinking Seagram's 7 and 7 Up. And we had a big tall bottle of it. And I just remember drinking so much that I don't even remember how we got to the basketball game. But at the basketball game, I was cheering that night, because that's what you do when you're a cheerleader. You cheer. So we went to the basketball game, and I was supposed to be cheering. Well, we were sitting up in the bleachers, and then there was a coach and his pregnant wife in front of us. Okay? And I was trying to step down from the bleachers to go out on the basketball court to cheer. I ended up falling all the way down the fucking bleachers, you guys. Almost landed on the coach's pregnant wife. That was when they realized that I was drunk. I get out on the basketball court, and I'm cheering. Second thing they noticed, I had no bloomers on. I had on underwear, and I'm kicking and screaming and acting like I'm cheering. You know how and I have no bloomers on. Warning number 2, they realize I'm out there fucked up. Well, halftime came around, and we came off the court, because we would cheer on the side of the court, and I went to the bathroom. Me and my friend went to the bathroom. And I remember sitting down inside the stall, you guys, and I was literally like, bam, 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 hitting the walls of the stall, because I couldn't sit on the toilet without falling over. Well, I came out of the bathroom, and I was leaving, and they were like, we got to get you home. Like, you can't stay here. You're going to get in trouble, girl. So my friend was like, come on, let's get her out of here. Let's take her home to her mom and dad's house. And I was tripping. I was like, y'all can't take me home. My parents are going to kill me. And that's when I felt this hand on the back of my shoulder. Oh, no, Nicole, you're coming with us. And I turned around, and it was the principal. Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks and my dad were both in the Air Force together, so they already knew each other. And my dad had always talked about how he was a punk. And I remember hearing my dad say that a lot, right? And so when Mr. Brooks put his hand on me, I turned around and I said, my dad's gonna whoop your ass. I'm not fucking going anywhere with you. Drunk as a skunk. So they took me in this little office on the side of because we were at the visiting school. We weren't at our home school. We weren't at our school. We were at the other school. They took me in the side room, like this office room, and Mr. Brooks was there. My two friends were there, and then my cheerleading coaches were there, Miss Dyer and Miss Wright. And they came in, and Miss Wright was like, "Nicole, are you okay? What is going on, girl?" And Miss Dyer was like, "Oh my God, Nicole." And that's when Mr. Brooks and them, they started asking my friends, "Where did she get this alcohol, you guys? Y'all, you've got to tell us where she got the alcohol." I said, "I found it under a tree." "What do you mean you found it under a tree?" "I told you, I got it from under a tree. Some homeless guy gave it to me." "Oh, okay, Nicole. Okay, so you're not gonna tell us where you got the alcohol." "Fuck no." That's when the cops came in, and they arrested me, and they took me to fucking jail at 17 years old. I got a public intox. So here I am, in the drunk tank, in my cheerleading outfit, with no bloomers on, sitting in the drunk tank, crying my eyes out, and my mom and dad had to come pick me up, you guys. Mom and dad came and picked me up, and my dad was like, "Nicole, what the hell?" You know? And I just started crying, and I said, "I'm so sorry." You know, my mom and dad were so upset. They were like, "What's going on with you? You're always, you're on," like, because y'all, up until that point, my parents didn't really realize that I was having a problem, and I was so good in sports. I was so good at my extracurriculars, and I was making pretty good grades, A, B's, and occasional C, you know, and I didn't really give my parents too many problems, but right then is where things started shifting. And my sister, Michelle, was really having problems with her mental health, and she had just gotten diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So my family, we were going through like a really hard time emotionally. My parents didn't know how to handle my sister, and now they didn't know what to do with me. And I remember just telling my parents, like, you know, I was just having fun. I didn't really know why. At that time, I didn't know why I was getting fucked up all the time, but I wanted to do it because I was having fun. I was partying, and that's how it all started out. So that's the first story I wanted to share with you guys about my addiction. So it started out just a teenager girl having a good time, partying on the weekends, drinking and kicking it, and trying to be skinny and trying to be popular and trying to be, you know, all the things that you want to do when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. You want to fit in. You want to be the hottest girl, or at least I did. I wanted to be that girl. I wanted to walk down the hallway and all the guys to be like, "Ooh, girl." I wanted to be that bitch, okay? And so I was always trying to be that bitch. I loved all my friends. I loved all the people in high school, but I felt like I needed to be that bitch. Do y'all know what I mean? I was like always trying to compete to be better, even against my own self. Well, that's how it started out. Now I want to share with you guys the second story. And this is how my addiction progressed into, from just, you know, snorting cocaine, you know, and drinking alcohol and smoking pot, to abuse, habitual use. So once I graduated high school, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to sign up for community college, and I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to be somebody, you know? Yes, Deb, exactly. Like, I needed to fit in, and I felt like drugs and alcohol gave me that extra, so I fit in, you know? And I always felt like I wasn't like everybody else. And I think if any of you guys felt like that? Like when you were growing up, but even before you started using drugs, did you always feel like you kind of weren't like everybody else? Like you were different? Thanks, Meg. Like you needed these things to make you feel different, so that way you could fit in. That's how I felt. I felt like I was the only Mexican girl. Everybody else, you know, they called me taco and burrito. I was kind of chunky. My dad was from the north. My mom is from California. My dad talked with a real heavy northern accent, and I was living in the deep, deep, dirty south. Okay? And so I always felt like I needed to be a part of, I needed to fit in. So that was the first story, okay? That's how it started. Just party girl. I was a party girl. Started going to college. This is the second story time. I started going to college, and I signed up for 2 years, right? And I started working at JCPenney in the cosmetic department. And you guys know how much I love makeup. I've always loved makeup since I was a young girl. And I've always been really good at putting it on people, putting it on myself, putting it on others. And I have a really good customer service. I'm a very good customer service employee. Like I will make your experience will be worth it when you come around to wherever I'm working at. I'm going to take care of you. Just like over here on my channel, how we talk on my channel, that's how I talk to my customers. Like I have known them my whole life. Because you know what? That's how I want people to treat me when I go into somewhere. So I was working at JCPenney, and I was working in the cosmetic department. I was doing people's makeup. I was selling cosmetics. I was selling perfumes. I loved it. This job fit me so well, and I was good at it. I was good at doing people's makeup. So the first year that I worked there, because I worked there about 2 years, the first year that I worked there, my friend Nikki came over, and she started working in the catalog department. So we were like two best friends. This girl was my best friend, you guys. My best friend. Okay. And I had just started dating LD. So, had I started? Yeah, I had started dating LD. So, here I am. She's working in a catalog, and I'm working in the cosmetic department. And we are having a great time. But we are still partying just like we did in high school. But now we start hanging out with people who are older than us. This is when I met LD. Okay? And we started doing methamphetamine. I'm trying to think of when my first time that I tried meth was. I cannot remember the first time I tried it. But I know it was with Nikki. So this is probably around that time. Well, we started doing meth. And meth, when I found meth, you guys, I had found my soulmate. Meth gave me energy. Meth made me skinny. Meth made me want to wake up in the morning and do stuff. Meth was the shit to me because it made me feel like Superwoman. It made me feel like I could do anything. So I started buying it. And this is where things started. Oh, fucker. Yep, y'all there? So me and Nikki started getting really, really hard, you guys, into the methamphetamine. And every single night. Well, Nikki crossed over an imaginary line that I hadn't crossed over yet, and she started shooting up. And then she met her husband, and they got married. And then I met LD. And so we kind of like drifted apart because I was with LD and she was with her husband. And it was just like, okay, is it still doing it, you guys? Let me know, because if it is, then what we'll do is we will stop at this story and we'll come back tomorrow night and do the last two stories to show the progression of the addiction. Okay? It's fine now? Okay. So, what time is it? 7:30. Okay. So, Nikki started shooting up, and I started, like buying it all the time, and me and LD had started getting real serious. Okay? Well, meth makes you high. So at my job at JCPenney, I started to come in late. I started to take stuff that wasn't mine, like perfume and things like that. And I ended up losing my job. I ended up getting fired for giving discounts that I wasn't supposed to give to people, which was part of me doing things in my addiction. I was hooking up my meth dealer that would come up there with half price instead of whole price, and I got busted for it. So I got fired from my job. So that was the first time I ever lost a job, and it was due to my addiction. So that's the second story I wanted to share with you guys. So now I have an everyday methamphetamine habit, and I'm compromising my job. I'm doing things to get dope. I'm hooking up my drug dealer so that way I can get dope for free, and he would give me free dope. So I lost my job. So there's the second. That's how I progressed from party girl on the weekends, kicking it, high school, fun days, to now I have a full-blown meth habit, and I am doing things that are illegal to obtain more meth. Okay, so I'll lose my job. When I lost my job, you guys, I freaked the fuck out because I had a car payment, I had insurance, and I was like, this is it. Shit's hitting the fan now. Okay. So now I want to share with you guys the third part and how my addiction progressed to the final stages to where I'm doing everything. So we'll probably say that was about 2003, 2004. So by 2008, I have a felony charge. And I'm going to explain to you guys how that all started, because this has a lot to do with, me using a needle. So after I got fired from JCPenney, I transferred, or I got another job, and I started working for Shoe Carnival. And my meth habit is out of control. I'm smoking meth every day. I'm buying meth every day. I am selling shoes from the Shoe Carnival to my meth dealer for cheaper so I can get more meth. I end up not losing that job, but leaving that job, going to the revenue office, and started working for the state of Arkansas. So my state of Arkansas job was a great job. I stayed there for 7 years. Everything was Gucci, right? Until it wasn't. Until I started doing things that were illegal there. Okay, so this is the third job. So I lost JCPenney. I left Shoe Carnival. So I lost JCPenney, I left Shoe Carnival, and then I lose my job at the revenue office. So now I've lost 2 jobs because of my addiction. Once I lost my job at the revenue office, I started working some shit job at Sonic. And that's when I started shooting up. Okay? I started shooting up methamphetamine. Once I started shooting up methamphetamine, within 6 months, I got my first and only charge. I caught a felony charge for possession of a controlled substance. Because I was driving around with dope in my car and the drug dealer. So do you see the progression from party girl to everyday use to now I cannot function without drugs? So now I'm adding in IV meth, and then this is when the oxys come in. And so this whole progression from smoking dope to shooting dope, now to shooting Roxy's, this took me down through there, guys. This is what, when all that started, when I started shooting Roxy's, my life took a freaking, when I started shooting meth, my life took a downhill real quick. And that's when I went to prison. Okay, once I got out of prison, I went to a treatment center every other year until I got sober. So I was in treatment in 2009, 2011, 2013, and 2015, and then I got sober. That's how crazy it was. I went to treatment every year. That's how my addiction progressed and progressed and progressed. And it went from, like I said, it went from me kicking it with the homies, drinking and partying on the weekend, to me shooting dope every single day. That's how the disease of addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful. It gets worse, never better. Once you are a pickle, you cannot go back to being a cucumber. Don't start. If you haven't started, don't start now. But anyway, I love you guys. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Oh, Deb, I've been there with the crack too. But I couldn't maintain a crack habit because it took me down through there quick. I'll share more with you guys about that tomorrow night. But I love y'all. I'm going to go wake Neil up because he hasn't been feeling good and check and see how he's doing. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And tomorrow day at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for morning